Hello, my name is Lynda Brown, and welcome to Meet the Candidates. It's my pleasure to bring this one-to-one question and answer forum to you. You know, in speaking with people around town, it's come to my attention that sometimes folks don't really know who might be running for a particular office, or even at times who's representing them presently. So this is one way for residents to get to know who's running for what office and to get to know a little bit more about the candidate and the issues that are important to them. I'll be asking local candidates questions that are pertinent to the office that they're seeking. They'll be about different issues facing the city and getting their responses and what they would do to either change or build on these issues. Now, notices inviting candidates to join in on this forum were sent out to all who are running. The ones that you'll be seeing in the interviews are candidates that responded. However, before I start, I'd like to take this opportunity to say a big thank you to HC Media for opening their studio to me along with the help of their wonderful staff and equipment. So much goes into be able to do something like this, and I appreciate it so much. They are one of Haverhill's gems. So, we're going to get started with our first candidate. Hello, I'm here with Tom Grannemann, who is a candidate for school committee. How are you?
Very good, thank you.
Listen, welcome. Good to see you. Nice to meet you.
Pleased to be here.
Well, thanks very much. Listen, we're going to hop right into it because I have a time frame that we have to stay in. So why don't we jump right into it? You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, Tom. Why don't you tell a little bit about why you're running? You decided to run.
Well, the main reason I'm running for school committee is I think I can help the school committee make better big decisions on spending and policy. Okay. And I think that's mainly because my background in my career has been in public finance and economics.
Okay, great.
I think I can bring some skills that they don't have right now.
Well, that's always needed no matter what you're in, right? It's always nice to have that background. So the next question I was going to ask you, what is your experience with public education? Do you have any with public education or anything like that?
Well, public education, I'm a product of public schools. My kids all went to public schools. I was on the screening committee that helped select the superintendent here in Haverhill.
Great.
And I also had experience in a previous community where I was on these two school building committees. And in one of those cases, we were designing a major expansion to the school and thinking about an auditorium. And I did some economic analysis that showed they were trying to decide whether to build a new balcony to expand, and I did some analysis that showed that if they expanded it, the cost per seat would be more than Broadway seats. So,
really? Okay, so we nixed that, right?
We nixed that, and they got by without the balcony.
That's good. Well, you have a lot of experience then. Did you see, first time meeting someone, you never know, right? Okay, so let's go on to say talk a little bit about as a candidate. For school committee, you meet obviously a lot of people in the community, whether it's on the political side or just in the community. So, do you see yourself primarily representing a representative of the community, or do you think, or the school system?
Well, I think the school committee really oversees the school system on behalf of the community. So it really needs to try to represent the community and make sure that the community gets out of the school system what they're looking for. And there's many constituencies within Haverhill. We've got taxpayers, we've got parents, we've got people concerned with the schools for various reasons. In my door-to-door campaign, I'm finding that almost uniformly everybody shares a commitment to public education.
They do.
Even people who don't have kids, people who are elderly and retired, or people who even send their kids to private school. I think everybody recognizes the need for public education.
Well, they do. I mean, even if you don't have children in the school system, it's still a benefit to your community all around, no matter which way you're going with that. So that's fantastic. And what do you think your relationship as a school committee should be with the superintendent?
Well, with the superintendent, you basically need to hold the superintendent accountable for meeting goals, but that means working with the superintendent to define what those goals are, how you're going to measure them, and making sure that letting the superintendent do her job. I think the real issue is, many times, is that the school committee should not be micromanaging. It really needs to be setting the big goals and making sure the superintendent has the resources to do her job.
Carry those out. Okay, great. Now, all school systems, public school systems, even private school systems have their challenges. What do you feel are some of Haverhill's public schools' challenges?
Well, I think a number of, let me focus on 2 or 3 challenges here.
That's good.
I think one of the biggest ones is resources. Okay. And Haverhill has, over the last decade, slipped behind in funding, in terms of per pupil funding. I even brought a little chart,
sure,
courtesy of Ross Barreau here. We have the chart shows Haverhill spending relative to other districts, and this goes from 2006 to 2017, wow, with the state average at 100%, and other similar communities up here, gateway cities and similar income gateway cities. And you can see between 2006 and 2017, Haverhill really fell behind was low already at 90% and went down to 82%. Wow. So in recent years, the last 2 years and in this current budget, we're making some improvements there. The mayor's approved larger increases in school spending. So I think we're in a situation now where we're coming back from that, but we've still got a way to go to close that gap, and we've got to be demonstrating to the taxpayers that we're using that money wisely to make sure we're getting what we want out of those extra dollars.
Because sometimes we can't just throw money at things, right? But there's no accountability wherever it went. I totally agree with that. So let me just ask you, can you and should you support a committee decision that you're not in favor of?
Well, I believe in democracy, and I don't believe I'm going to be on the winning side of every debate, so I think the answer is yes.
So that's a good thing. That's a good thing. You're on a committee, it's a team, right? You have to understand sometimes it goes your way and sometimes it doesn't, right? So we're going to jump into something obviously that has hit everyone in our country, and of course, is school safety. Weapons in schools, guns in schools, knives, drugs, all of those things have somehow found their way into the schools, our school systems. So how do you think you as a school committee member work to help keep those out of Haverhill School?
Okay, well, I think safety is a top priority.
It is.
But we really need a comprehensive program for safety that needs to go beyond drugs and guns. We have, if you look at the statistics on what causes deaths among young people in Massachusetts, it does include drug overdoses and things, but it also includes accidents and suicide and things like that. And I think there's a tendency sometimes when we have incidents for people to kind of jump to simple solutions, like a technology solution to put, try to turn the airport put airport-like security in the schools. Those are often not cost-effective in a school environment, but we need to look for what are best practices, what really works, and get evidence of that before we start investing in that. My tendency would be to try to focus less, to the extent possible, less on law enforcement solutions, more on a reactive basis and more on a proactive basis with counseling, mentoring, and changing the environment in the school.
So important to be proactive about things, because we tend to be that kind of society. If it's not too bad, we won't do anything about it, and then when something really bad happens, we're kind of like, oh, what happened, right? It's really a tough situation, I know, for parents and just folks to be dealing with that kind of stuff when it comes out. Now, we know that Haverhill is a very diverse community, and I think right now we say it shows that I think we're 20% Latino community. So what new resources do you think are needed to support a diverse student body?
Well, I think the school system needs to be able to interact with a diverse population of different ethnic backgrounds and language barriers. We should be investing in community, family engagement with people on staff who can speak the language of the parents, because often even if the students can do English in school, the parents often can't. And so that connection between the school and the community makes a difference. We need more Latino teachers. We also need staff who can deal with those with the language issue. And with our diversity in terms of economics, as well as ethnicity. We need, some people are
Absolutely.
coming to school without the same set of skills and need a lot of help to get up to reading by grade 3 or 4 so that they can be effective learners through the rest of their high school career.
That's really important, though, because sometimes you just think it's not just one area. It kind of goes into so many culturally, like you said, socially. So it's a big thing, but it's a wonderful thing to see our community grow like this, because Haverhill's grown so much, and to see a diverse community like this, it's really a good thing. It's one of Haverhill's strengths, I think. So let me just ask one more question for you. What qualities or behaviors should committee members exhibit?
Well, I think they need to be independent thinking. I think they need to bring something different to the community with that. They need to be straightforward in talking about things. And I think empathy and also what I would call civility. I think a lot of times things get a little bit tense, and I come from a background where my mother was a nurse. She met with all kinds of people, and she had varied opinions about their problems in their life and whatever, but she was always respectful of people. And I think
Absolutely.
if the school committee can take the lead in setting civility, I think that will spread through the whole school system.
Respect is it's a wonderful virtue, isn't it? It really is. Well, listen, we're almost all out of time, but I want to make sure you let people know how they can get in touch with you to find out about your campaign, or if they have any questions. If there's an email address or Facebook.
Okay, I have a website. It's Tom. My email address is tom@tomgrannemanforhaverhill.com.
Okay. Is there a phone number or any type of other Facebook page?
I do have a Facebook page.
Okay.
And that email address and the website with that
Is all on there?
on the email. The website is tomgrannemanforhaverhill.com.
Perfect. Well, it was so nice meeting you. Did a great job.
Great to meet you.
It was, and the best of luck.
It went very fast. Thank you.
It does, doesn't it go fast? I mean, I'm telling you, when it flows like this, it's a good thing, though. But
Thank
thanks
you.
for coming in.